everyone, welcome to my video of 5 lessons from Game of Thrones. In this video, I'll be explaining the 5 lessons I have learned from the famous TV series Game of Thrones. So let us begin with our lesson number 1. How others see you does not define you. Game of Thrones is filled with characters who are seen as inferior for some reason or another. Tyrion the dwarf, Jon the bastard, Bran the broken, Davos the onion knight, Brienne the beauty, and the list goes on. Despite the labels stuck to these characters, none of them are held back for giving their best. They wear their so-called weaknesses as a badge of pride, finding beauty in their uniqueness. Bran embraces his strengths as a warg, Brienne devotes herself to the art of combat, and Tyrion, well, everyone knows how awesome Tyrion is. As he says, never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor and it can never be used to hurt you. Tyrion is one of the most beloved characters among Game of Thrones fans, and he is a true inspiration to anyone who has to overcome an obstacle that they can't control. You rock, Tyrion. Moving on to our lesson number 2. Make every moment count. Valar Morghulis. All men must die. Many of us view death as a distant stranger that we'll never likely know. Game of Thrones demonstrates that death comes for everyone, from noble lords like Jon Arryn, Robert Baratheon, Ned Stark, etc., to innocent children. Being an upstanding citizen does not make you immune to speeding cars or diseases. Each one of us is as vulnerable to death as the next, and eventually it will come for us all, whether as an accidental misstep on a roof or an overly aged body. It could be tomorrow or it could be in 90 years, but all men must die. So while alive, make every moment count. Do what you love. Spend time with loved ones and be grateful. Because as George R.R. Martin relentlessly shows, any moment could be your last moment. Let us move ahead with our lesson number 3. In the books, as in life, there are shades of grey. Jaime Lannister is perhaps the epitome of a flawed character, with both good and bad inside him. Never before has any character made feelings fluctuate as much as the Kingslayer. We all pretty much hated him right from his entry when he pushes Bran down from the tower. But as karmic as the George R.R. Martin universe is, he got his dues. He lost the arm that won him the name Kingslayer, lost the love of his sister, and lost all his children. He's turned into something he never dreamed of. A cripple with a golden hand. And yet, he is a good guy. He truly loved Cersei. He rescues Brienne from the bear. He kills the Mad King because he orders him to destroy King's Landing with wildfire rather than surrendering to the Lannisters during the sacking of King's Landing. And on top of all of this, he helped Tyrion to escape. If all of this does not convince of how good Jaime actually is, then I don't know what will. Now we are moving on to our lesson number 4. Always strive to improve yourself. Remember King Robert Baratheon? He was a once fierce warrior who won the war of the usurper, crushed the skull of poor Prince Rhaegar Targaryen at the Battle of the Trident, and claimed the Iron Throne through sheer strength and force. But King Robert fell victim to something common to many people, even in the working world: complacency. After getting a cushy job ruling the kingdom, Robert let himself go. He began eating and drinking like crazy, paying more attention to feasts and women, other than his wife, than his job as ruler of the 7 kingdoms. Although he was a decent man with good intentions, he lost his focus, took his eyes off the prize, and never tried to improve himself. So don't be like Robert Baratheon. If you've grabbed an opportunity, keep holding on it with your full might. Now we have arrived to our last but not at all least lesson number 5. Network, network, network. Would it surprise you to learn one of the most powerful figures in the seven kingdoms is a low-born eunuch? Varus was born a slave, suffering unspeakable torture at the hands of a sorcerer who cast him out in the streets to die. But instead, he continued. And while he survived by stealing goods at first, he soon learned that stolen information is the thing of true value. So he committed himself to building a network of spies and paid informants that spans 2 continents. Varys has little birds that chirp to him on a 24/7 basis, creating a real time information system that was just as effective as Twitter is today. Eventually, his information became so valuable he was placed on the king's small council as the master of whisperers, keeping the king informed of all the latest gossip and news. Proving once again that a solid network is the key to becoming and remaining successful in any realm or line of work. With this, I come to an end of my video. Thank you for watching.